Hey guys and gals, it's Mike White with 143 Vinyl. So today I'm going to make a tutorial on how to make images and how to get inspired for images. You know, I've been doing a lot of designs for our print ready category at 143, and you know, it's hard to stay inspired every day, and you know, some people don't even know how to make a design, you know, and so I just figured that I would do a quick tutorial. Well, you know, I always say quick. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do some print-ready designs, you know, and how I do them. I've been a graphic designer for about 20 years, and I'm skilled in vector graphics, and I'm skilled in drawing and painting in Photoshop, and, you know, I've got a lot of talents, I guess, is what some people would call it. I call it skill. But, you know, recently I've been speeding up my workflow quite a bit by using Microsoft Copilot. Now, you know, AI-generated art is not something that everybody's a fan of. I'm a huge fan. I'm a big supporter. I think that it's a wonderful tool to have in your arsenal. And I'm going to show you how quickly I can come up with some themes and, you know, exactly what I do to use AI in my workflow. So most designs that I do start with an inspiration. So let's look at my inspo. So the first thing I usually do is create a folder. I keep a folder, you know, for designs, and I've created a folder for my Aloha design that I'm planning on making. And this is my inspiration. It's one of my friends on Facebook has just posted this image, and I thought, well, that would make a cool shirt, and I'm ready to, you know, try to see what I get. So let's see what happens. So I think my plan is to, you know, follow this pretty closely. I'm going to, you know, try to just do a design like this. I'm going to need a block font, and I'm going to need some, you know, these backgrounds, and I can certainly draw them. I mean, I can look at these designs and draw my own versions, but it's so much faster to be able to use something like AI to assist you in your workflow. So let's get started. Okay, so I paused while I typed out my prompt. So I'm going to go for a silhouette of native Hawaiians rowing across the ocean with a setting sun in the background, simple shapes, predominantly red with orange and yellow accents in a vector art style. And let's just see what Copilot does. Come on, do your thing. You never know what you're going to get. And, you know, quite often I'm very impressed and surprised with what I get. So, you know, we'll just see how this goes. Rolling the dice. That's what you're doing every single time. Okay, so we got some great options, and I promised myself I would not, you know, just continually keep searching for the right one the way I usually do. So I really love this one, but I'm not so sure about, I want to make sure that I'm respectful, and I'm not so sure about some of these head shapes. So this one's kind of nondescript, and I also really like the style. Yeah, I really just don't know. I don't know enough about the culture to say, hey, that are these headdresses correct? They don't look right to me for some reason. So what I'm going to do is just go with this one because it's nondescript. So I'm going to download that. So I'm just going to click here and hit download. And if you watch my tutorials, you know I'm a huge fan of gigapixels. So I've just opened that up in gigapixels. So I've taken a, you know, smaller image that would probably still work for what we need and just made it much larger so it's easier for me to work with in Photoshop. All right, so we'll save that. So I've named the file Aloha Native Canoe Red, and I'm gonna just edit that in Photoshop. It'd be fun to just keep rendering, you know, different designs, but I know that I'm gonna have to actually do the work. So I'm gonna stop here and actually get this one ready and see if, you know, see if I can remove all this blue and blend this in nicely. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get my canvas size larger. So I'm just gonna take and, you know, do the height, and we'll add, let's say 3,000 pixels. We might need more. Yeah, let's do more. Let's do another 3,000. That way we've got plenty of room, and we'll have lots, you know, for our A. We won't have to worry about that too much. Okay, and then I'm going to select these two areas of white, and I'm just going to expand that selection. So I'll expand by 5, and that should, you know, make sure I've got some overlap here. I'm going to hit Control Shift N, and I'm just going to put a solid color that matches so that I just have a nice, overall. I'm going to try to change all that to red eventually. So let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. All right. And then I'm going to merge this down so that I've got, just a flat image there. And I'm going to take this original one and just convert it to Smart Object, and that way it's locked. I know that I'm not going to mess with it, and I can just work with this one. I see a little bit of oddity here, so I'm just going to try to stretch this out slightly, and then I'm going to center it again. So I've got my align to canvas, and I got my move tool, and I'm just centering that up. I just saw that little gap, and I just like to clean up those things as they show up. Okay, so we want to use our magic wand, and we're going to do a pretty heavy tolerance here. I'm going to go for 80, and we'll just select all of this. Oh, I need to have contiguous checked, because I don't have it checked. It actually got in here and selected those areas that I don't want. So I want to keep those, preserve that. So that's got it. And, we'll take these two as well. And then I'm just going to expand that slightly. So I'm going to do select, modify, expand, and just go in like 2 pixels. So I had to start over because one of the little moves that I made, I'm not sure which one, I actually ended up having all these like weird warts all over my guys here in the center. So, just odd adventures that you encounter along the way. So I've just started over, and I am dumping some color on this layer. So I'm just using the paint bucket tool. I'll show you a different technique. Okay, so we're back to where we were. I'm going to merge this down. Well, actually, I'm going to convert that to a smart object like I did before. I'll duplicate that layer. Where's my duplicate? There it is. And then I'm going to rasterize this one, hide that one, merge this down. Control E to merge. Okay, here we go. So I'm setting my tolerance to 80 up here. I have my magic wand tool selected, and I am just clicking once on that background, and then I'm just going to do select, modify, expand, and I'm going to expand it by 2, hoping that I get right inside this edge so that there's no problem there. All right, and so I'm just going to hit delete and get rid of that. And then I love to check, I didn't do this. Let me get these 2. Select, modify, expand. I'm going to expand by 2. Stay consistent there. And then I like to check once I've done a cutout like that with a solid color background. So, all of these techniques that I'm showing you here in Photoshop, most of this you can definitely do in Photopea. And I'm mentioning that because Photopea is free, so if you don't have Photoshop at first, I do highly recommend that you get it one day because it's wonderful. It is the tool that you want to use. But Photopea is completely free, and it's just an online application. And there's another one that I've been suggested to try, which I haven't tried, but I've heard from someone that I trust. It's called Krita. It's Krita, and Photopea is photo, PHOTOPEA.com. So Photopea or Krita if you don't have Photoshop. All right, so I've just got my black layer. But what I was going to say is all these techniques I'm showing you, you can use these on designs that you found from Etsy. I'm showing you how to work with images in a healthy way, in a way that's going to preserve them quality-wise. I've got a really nice computer. I'm not trying to do this on a phone or a laptop. I'm working at 10,000 pixels, which is probably a little bit too much. It looks like, this is still kind of fuzzy, so I could probably reduce that a little bit. In fact, I'll do that while I'm thinking about it. We'll take this down. This is just going to be the letter of an A. So I'm going to go for 6,000 by 6,000. So, that's huge. That is 300 pixels per inch. That's 20 inches. Now, I know that I've got, a bunch of space that we're probably not going to use, and that's why I'm working that big. But still, that's just a really big image, and it's good when you're in your application. I've got a gaming desktop. I'm recording and doing this, so I'm putting a lot of tax on the computer, but it's best to have, if you have a lesser computer, have everything closed and just work in Photoshop. So, just work big. So I'm zooming in and out. I'm using Control. I'm holding Control and hitting the plus key and using Control and the minus key to zoom in and out. And now I'm here, and I'm going to do a new layer. I'm just kind of do a new layer to think, sometimes just to think, just to clear my place. I'm going to call this one Drawing. I'm going to call this one Background. So I'm usually not this organized, but I'm trying to show you all good habits. And I'm just going to first experiment with just this main red color and just see how we like that. If we drop that in, what do we get? And how do we like that? And we don't really like it. It's not terrible, but we see lots of little problems, I think, that none of us will be real super happy with. So how can we approach this in a different way? I mean, I want to blend this in, but I don't want to lose I don't want to lose the effect there. So I'm just going to try a different base color to see if that's a little better for me. But with every one of these colors I'm choosing, since it's it's one of these colors that's in the design, I'm losing parts of the design. So let's just see if we can go and stay in the same color range. I'm thinking, because I'm trying to decide if I want to go darker or lighter. I'm just going to move this up lighter and go really light like that. And that does seem like a pretty color. Yeah, that's actually giving us that contrast I was looking for. Okay, that'll work. So AI likes to put lots of color that we don't necessarily want. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, just take care of some of these edges. So I just picked this color, and I switched to my brush tool. You can use B, or you can click over here. And I'm going to make this soft. I'm going to go with a 30% brush and make it a little bigger. And I can adjust with my bracket keys that are right above the enter key just by clicking. And so I made the brush soft in an attempt to be able to just select this, and I control clicked the layer. So I made it soft, in an attempt to just kind of blend this in so there's not a hard edge. I'm not creating more hard edges. And I'm just going to, follow where I see that color and just kind of clean this up. So I'm just really kind of focused on the edges. So I'm only going to come up here where the edge is. And then, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'll stay with that consistent color. My brush size is making this really easy. I've got smoothing turned on. You can see that right here, 20%. Flow is at 100%. So, you don't have to use all these things with your brush, but I mean, every little bit helps. It just makes you a little more accurate, a little more professional. Don't feel bad if you can't draw with the mouse very well, and if you do struggle drawing with the mouse, and that's what I do. I don't use a tablet or anything. I've never used a tablet. I've played with them, and it's just not for me. But if you struggle with drawing for a mouse, then what you want to do is lower your mouse speed. So go into your control panel on your computer and change the speed at which your mouse operates, and that'll really help your overall ability to control the mouse. So yeah, I'm just going to make this a consistent color. We're kind of doing that retro sun thing here, so it's should look pretty good. Yeah, and that's a lot less painful on those edges. They're blended in nicely. And we'll just nail this background. We'll just make sure this fits well. So again, I'm control clicking the layer. Control Shift D reselects, and Control D deselects. So that's all right. So now I've got a nice consistent edge there, and I've got good contrast around here, so I'm not real worried about those edges. I think that is going to be our graphic for our A. And we'll just leave it right there. So I'm going to save that. And I'm just going to, yeah, I guess I will save it as a PSD. That feels like overkill, but we'll do it. So I'm saving it in my Aloha directory. And that one's done. Okay, so I'm going to close all. And I've got some other things open here, but I just want to go back to kind of I don't want to overtax my computer. So that's what I'm doing. And we're going to go back to Copilot and we're going to look at our next thing. And we're going to try a similar prompt. So I'm going to copy this because I can use some of this. And we're just going to say predominantly blue with light blue and white. I'll get rid of that word accents, just kind of mess it up, So we're going to say surfer on the ocean. And we're going to give it a whirl. Come on. I promised myself I wouldn't do more than one per. We'll just see. I promised myself. I could break my own promise. I am the designer. But usually I'll render multiple. I'll do, as many as 10. And I pay for Copilot so that I can get away with that, Oh, I like the idea of it being a girl. That's fun. But I really like this one with this guy. I am a guy, so that does make sense. Yeah, and I just kind of feel, well, no, we need some female representation. Here we go. We're going to get a girl. Let's look at this color scheme. Yeah, we can extend this really easy. This is going to be wonderful. All right, perfect. So we'll just download this. And we're going to go for gigapixel. And we're going to scale her up. Okay, and I've just named her Surfer Girl Blue. And I'm putting her in my designs folder. And putting her in my Aloha folder. So she's right there. So I feel like we're going to get a big speed boost on this one because it's going to be super easy. I actually am going to open that other one up again and just check my dimensions. So my canvas size, image size. So I had a 6,000 height, so I know that that's where I want to kind of stay. And so I'm just going to do image size, and the height is already 6,000. So I know that I've got to go more than that. Yeah, so I'm just going to do image canvas size. Well, shoot, let's unlock this. Let's duplicate the layer. Let's convert this one to a smart object and hide it. And then I'm going to do image canvas size, and I'm going to just add to this height. I'm just going to go 5,000 at first. And that doesn't seem like enough. So I'm just going to do image canvas size, and we'll do another 5,000. So I'm just looking at the proportions and making sure that I've got plenty of room and I'm not making myself struggle later. And I'll just pick this color and Control Shift N, new layer, and I'm just going to drop paint. Awesome. And then I'm going to pick this color and I'm just going to select, I use my marquee tool here, this area, and I'm just going to drop some paint. And that's it for this one. I'm just checking to see, I see a little bit of a weird line there I don't like. I'm going to paint that out. So, that's the thing with AI generated images. I mean, you're going to have to make some changes. So I'm just going to click once over here and hold shift and click. And I think that line didn't have any effect because I was on the wrong layer. So, yeah, I mean, you're just not going to get something out of AI that's just ready to use. I mean, obviously, these are really simple. I wouldn't call this, a finished design. But, it's definitely saving me tons of time, and it's going to work for our efforts here. So, all right, so I think you get the vibe. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest. So because I'm paying $20 a month for Copilot, I've got 77 more that I can do, today. So I believe that gets regenerated every day. I can do 100 images. that you can do it for free. You won't get these landscape style designs, which is just fine. You just work with them and what you get. And so I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, paying for Copilot does give you better results. You do get the landscape designs, and it's just easier to work with overall, is my opinion. Okay, so we got our orange beach, and we've got our green volcano, and here we go. Let's put it all together. So I'm going to close all, and I'm going to do File New, and I'm just going to create something that's bigger than what I need, but I don't want to go crazy. And I certainly don't want to upload something bigger than what I need. I just want to put something up that's the right size. Enough is what we're looking for. We don't want to go too small. So I'm going 7,200 because I'm usually printing things at 3,600. That's just 12 inches. 12 times 300, 3,600. That's the size that I usually print things at. And so I'm going to go with a 7,200 width. And I think if I was going to do this, 3,600 by 2,400, that'd probably be a good size for the overall design. So I'm just going to double that and do 7,200 by 4,800. Resolution doesn't matter. I'm going to set it to 300. It really doesn't matter. The pixel dimensions are what you need to focus on. So I'm just going to create that and close my little actions panel here. And I'm going to look for a thick font, and I'm not going to waste your all's time while I do that. So I'm just going to type with my text tool. I'm just going to click here. I've got it centered, and I'm going to look for a thick font. I will show you how I do that. I actually just select up here, and I just go to the top of the list usually, and then I just use my arrow keys to flip through them. Excuse me. I guess it makes sense to type my word, Aloha. And then I'm just going to use my arrow keys by clicking here once and then just doing down arrow. I have to select the move tool, and then I can do that. So that should be changing my font. I have no idea why it's not. It's probably because I'm recording and trying to show people things. There we go. All right, perfect. Okay, and I set it on this one. So nothing special about this, just a very blocky font. It's Berlin Sans. I do have a tendency to overuse it. I think I have my favorites. And I'm just going to get the size up there. I love this font because it's just nice and thick. And I definitely know that I want to stretch this, so I'm holding shift and pulling this up. We want it nice and tall. We want it to fill the space, fill the design. And we can adjust our spacing between the letters. I'm going to hit enter to confirm. And then I'm just going to try like a -100 and see if that's too much. It is. I don't know. I kind of like them touching. I still think it's going to be legible. I'm not super happy with the kerning on the O. This is just the experimentation phase. Let's reduce this. So I'm just going to select that, and we'll make this -150. And that should squeeze that into that O a little bit. Yeah, I really do like that. I like how it's still very legible, and we're going to have these hard distinctions between these letters when we're done. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. Oh, it's going to make it difficult for me to cut things together, but that's okay. That's just the way life is. All right, so let's just hit enter, and I'm going to center it. And obviously I have way too much space top and bottom, but that's okay. I think this whole design, if we follow the pineapple theme too, that'll give us a little more height. So we'll just go with that. And then I'm thinking, sorry, I'm doing that out loud. All right, so the best way for me to handle this is probably to left align, and then I'll center again. And then I'm just going to duplicate this layer, and I'll just start color coordinating them. So I'm going to make the first one. Let me get my little folder over here and look. I'm just pulling that up on my other screen. So I've got first with red. So we'll just choose a red color, and just kind of doesn't matter. This is just for helping us get organized, and then we're going to get rid of all of these letters from that one. All right, so there's our A, and then I'm just going to duplicate that layer, and I'm going to type the L, and I'm using my other layer just to line things up. Yep, and so that layer is our blue. So we'll just choose a blue, don't be picky, just pick a blue. All right, and then we're going to do our O. I'll pause the video. So just as I paused, I thought for a second, my brain started functioning, and I realized that I need this O to be centered, and I really need to stretch the others out to make that work. So I just kind of changed I took back and actually went the other way to scoot this over, and I'm still going to get everything touching, don't worry. I'm just kind of eyeballing things at the moment. So we're just going to take all of this. I'm reframing the design, getting it back on the stage here. And I know that I need that O to be center, and I'm going to make that happen. All right, so my O is going to be a yellow-ish color. We'll just make it that color, that's fine. Helps it stand out for me. And I'm just gonna take these other elements and scoot them. I'm gonna set up more guidelines. So I'll just set a guideline right here, just a little bit in. So that was at 51 pixels. And I think I'm over, here's 7150, so close enough. It tells you what I know I'm at 7200 wide. And I'm just gonna, create these other letters, and then I'll line things up. So I do want to stay with this same spacing. Yeah, let's just duplicate this. And we'll call that an H. And our H is the green. Slide this over so we can see it. That's a deep green. And then we've got our final A, which is orange. So we'll just duplicate this A. Slide it over. And then we'll make that orange. So we kind of have our organization here. And then here's our Aloha word. So I'm going to just try to start over with this layout and not recreate everything. But let's hide these for now. I'm going to group these and call these letters. And just look at this original layout. And I'm going to take this and set this to, just a 0 on the kerning adjustment. All right. And don't panic. I see that that's hanging off the sides. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm doodling out loud. That's what I'm doing. All right, so this side, we'll set this to -100. And that gets a nice little overlap. That's what we had before. And this side, I'm going to set this to -100. And now we've got a little overlap here. And we'll just take I'm looking at just the HA and the O. Probably need to get rid of the O just for my process here. Creative process. I know that the L is going to have to stretch out to take up the visual space. I know how to do this. Okay. So let's take this, I'm acting like they're all not connected. Let's take this and we'll center it. And then we know we need a little more space there. So I'm just kind of getting things close. I don't have any real magic here. I'm just kind of eyeballing things. And then there's the AH. So let's type this out as an H. Aha! This is one of those aha moments right here. And then I want my O to be in the center there, and that's probably still not enough room, but let's turn the O on of this other stack. And that'll be in the middle there. Yeah, that's too much overlap on that. So we're going to take the AH out, the AHA that we have, and we'll just try just one more space and see how that goes. Yeah, actually, that's pretty much perfect. Okay, and then we'll just take everything, and we will Control T. But in our example image, the O is a little smaller, which I think is nice. So I'm going to hit Control T, I'm going to hold Alt and pull that in just a bit. And then I'll drag a guideline down here, snap it. Oh, I'm trying to snap it to the bottom there. It's not working. Probably because I have that selected. Let me try to snap it to this one. Yes, there we go. And then we'll take this O. I'm going to hold Shift and pull it up and then pull it back down so that it intentionally snaps. Okay. And then with our AHA that we've got here, let's just adjust the kerning of the middle space. How many spaces do we have here? So we have just one space. Oh, that's selected the O. Okay. So let's just lock that layer. I don't want it to select that. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 spaces there. So we'll just grab the middle space. Yeah, because there's another space there. Okay, and we'll just adjust the kerning of that. So we'll do -100 on that. And that might be a little much. Let's do -50. Yeah, we just want a little bit of overlap there. -75. Nope. -25. Okay. Not enough. It's going to be playing to get this to touch. And then we'll take our AHA and we will center it again. Yeah, and then we'll just eyeball it because it's obviously not off. Or the O is not centered. Let's make that sure that's happening. Yeah, now the O is centered. Yeah, and we need just a little bit more. Well, we could just scooch it in. That's enough. Okay. All right, so let's just take the rest of our letters, bring them back in, and we'll lay them out. So we'll grab this A, not that A, this A. You can turn on auto select for moments like this. Auto select really throws me off most of the time because I never have it on. And then we'll take this L. As you can see, I'm sitting over here selecting it. Yeah, I'm just not going to work with auto select because I'm not good at it. And we'll try to just stretch this L out while we're right here. And make it take up the same amount of visual space as the H normally would. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that, you know, the L is not going to connect to the O. And that really bothers me, actually. Let's just make sure there's a little tiny overlap. I mean, that L's getting really big. To make that stretched out so much. But I know that we've got to keep our A's consistent on both sides. Yeah, at least it's touching. And then we'll take this H. Oops, H. And then we'll take this last A and line it up. Yeah, I'm cool with it. You know, I would probably play with this, and I could definitely spend hours. But I'm just going to let it go because that's what we do. We got to let it go when we're doing tutorials. Yeah, see, I'm just not happy with that. No, I can't stand it. Let me play with this. Okay, so I have played with this for way too long. And as with most things in life, it's just about compromise. And I have just kind of compromised. I'm not super happy. My O is not completely centered. I'm overall, I think, going to be able to live with the design. You know, visually, it's still not appealing to me 100%, but I'm just going to let it go. That's what I need to do. So here we go. Let's learn the rest of the tricks we're going to use. All right, so I'm just going to go back to my window, and I'm going to select the first A, and I've kind of got things, you know, I've got this A overlapping this H, I think the O is in the front of everything. And I'm just going to, drag in from my folder. So I'm looking for my red one. And here's my red one. And I'm just going to pull that right in. And I'm just going to hit enter to confirm. So that's a smart object now. And then I'm going to create the clipping mask. And I'm just going to pull that over. So I just right clicked and did a clipping mask to clip that to my A. I'm going to pull my design in. And we'll just pull the main feature of it down here. So there's our A, and I think we should come in a little bit more. We want a little more of that red showing. We want the whole canoe on there. Oh, we kind of want those clouds too, so I don't want to get too bogged down in that. We'll go with something like that for now. And then we're going to pull in our blue. So that's going to go on my L. So we'll pull, I just selected that so that when I drop this in, it'll be right in the same placement. And then we'll just create that clipping mask. And you can see now why I wanted so much room on my canvas. I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of room to be able to position the parts that I wanted to show without something like that happening, which we can fix that if that's a problem. Yeah, I really kind of want to see more of that girl and see the waves. And I think going up with it is more balanced. I'd love to be able to get her entire hand on there. No, I like it going off because we want to give her a direction. She's going that way. Alright. So we'll just do that. And then I realize parts of that are showing. So we'll just do Control-Shift in. And we'll do a new layer. And we'll pull it right underneath that L. And we'll just grab our paintbrush. And we'll just paint this in. Alright. Well, it's coming together. I don't know if I love it yet. And you don't know. I mean, I make these designs. I usually do persist and make sure that I get something out of my time. But I don't love every design that I do. And I really don't know until the end if I'm going to love it. So, all right, let's create a clipping mask for that. We'll just move that in. Ooh, that's kind of dramatic. I like that. I think I like it better going this way. I think we're going to go with that placement right there. Let's just look at this. What if that was off? Yeah, it's boring. Of the green. Not real super happy with that, the color scheme of that. And that's the type of thing I would do is I could go into each one of these and balance them more. I'm looking at my canoes now and just thinking that actually translates better the way it was originally envisioned. Yep, okay. And then we've got our orange scene. And speaking of balance, I just realized the way I placed that mountain might be, or that volcano might be a little too dramatic. I may not like that. We got some different things we can do with this one. Yeah, we've already shown him a sun. We got a sun over here on the right, so we're just going to stick with this. And then we'll just do that same trick, because obviously I didn't give myself enough room on that one. And we'll just paint. Okay, it's coming together. I'm liking it more. I'm gonna look one more time at this volcano and just, it's too dramatic, it's too much, it's too big. I don't know, it's a volcano. It can be big, can't it? Yeah, and I definitely don't want those to line up. All right, so there's that. That's what we got so far. Okay, so to do our pineapple, I'm just going to grab some inspo. I've just searched on the web. And I'm going to do a print screen. And that should work for our color. So we'll just set the color of this. I think that color goes well. And then we'll just grab our brush tool. And we'll do a new layer above the O. And we'll clip it to it. And I'm just going to do a hard brush here. So I'm going to turn the hardness up. And I'm going to turn my smoothing way up because I want to do some really nice smooth strokes. And that's probably a little excessive, but should help me make some really nice smooth strokes. And we're just going to try to just draw, not that angle quite. Yep, not quite that big. Let's just get the brush size down. We're just going to draw some strokes. It looks like I really need to be consistent with my spacing and sizing as much as possible. Whoops. Don't like that angle. Yeah. As I'm drawing, I'm realizing that, the spacing and the consistency is so important. And the size. Probably too many here. Okay. That's what I call learning an image. You just kind of start learning and then you adjust. I do want a little curve to it. I'm trying to achieve that. I may have my smoothing up too high for my hand. And again, I am drawing with a mouse, which a lot of people don't do. They use a tablet, but I have always used a mouse. And I'm just gonna keep getting my strokes right till I'm happy with it. I've got a nice big mouse pad and it makes it easier, to kind of follow. Oops, didn't like the way I ended that. I think I had my smoothing way too high. But we'll just finish it out because we have to let it go. That is the theme overall of this tutorial, is to let it go. And I'm talking to myself. Awesome. And then we'll just grab this little pineapple shape up here. We like that. So I've just switched to my pen tool. I've got it in shape mode. I'm going to turn the fill off and turn the stroke to a dark color. Doesn't matter. Just so that I can see it. And we're just going to start drawing. And I'm just going to follow this pretty exactly because I like this shape. Oops. You got to remember that I think it was Picasso that said that good artists imitate and great artists steal. Now, I don't actually believe in stealing, but I certainly don't mind, looking at somebody else, looking at their work and incorporating it in mine. And as much as I'm creating, I've just got to find things to speed myself along, because I'm a perfectionist, and I will spend all day trying to get these lines right. But if I've got a guideline to follow, then I'm just going to follow it. Because someone else spent a bunch of time thinking about these lines. And I'm certainly not taking their whole drawing, I'm just taking a piece of it. So I feel vindicated about that. I think a lot of us actually struggle with, feeling like, imposter syndrome. Like, am I really an artist? Am I good? Am I bad? Where's my skill level? And that's another thing we just need to let go. That's the theme. Awesome. Got a shape. Say we stay with the color. I'm going to turn the fill back on, so I'll select my pen tool again and just change the fill. I need to use this. Dude, okay. Fill. Got my shape. And then we'll fit it to our O. So we'll turn that layer off. That's distracting me. Let's use auto select to find it. Okay, I found it. And there's my shape. We'll fit it to our O. Give it a little cap here. Let's flip it. I'm not sure why I can't do that. Let's see. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. Oh, we just need to scale it down so that it's not in the way. And I'm just going to change to align to selection, and it should align to the O. I find that hard to believe that I placed that perfectly, but I guess I did. Yep. Alright, and then we'll just take this. I just feel like it's taking up too much visual room. But I also have this to follow with this O. So let's just get this real close, set it right on there, and then we will adjust this bottom curve. To follow our O a little better. Aloha! There you go. All right, well, that took a lot longer than I expected. I can't believe I started out saying this was going to be a quick tutorial. I've got to stop that. I think I'm always thinking, quick tutorial, because I just don't want to take up too much of your all's time. But the reality is that this stuff takes time, even when you're, pretty fast at it, and when you use a bunch of aids, and it just is what it is. All right, well, I hope you learned some things, and I hope you like the final design. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm usually happy once I look back at what I've done, and I would definitely spend a lot more time tweaking this normally.